What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Martian and Ozzy podcast. This is our first podcast of the year 2024, coming at you with the first UFC card of the year going down this weekend from the UFC Apex. Magomed Ankalaev taking on Johnny Walker in a rematch. 12 fight card going down from the Apex. Excited to be back, breaking down some more fights in a new year with you guys. And I'm joined by my co host, as always. New year, same co host. What's up, Ozzy?
Hola, boys. I am a bit under the weather, as you could, I'm sure, hear. I've been struggling. Martian, I didn't tell you before we got on here. The reason I got sick, and I emphatically believe this, is I went to karaoke on Friday, and I've been sick ever since.
What'd you think?
So cesspool in there, bro. And what did I not think, bro? And yeah, it was a cesspool in there afterwards, whatever.
Mm,
So gonna have to bounce back. I'm trying, but these diseases are developed nowadays. So
yeah,
I'm gonna keep
mutating.
my thoughts. I'm gonna keep my thoughts succinct, to the point, and hopefully be better next week. And it can be a blip in the radar.
Yeah. And you got all your vaccines too, so you should be covered from all the
I'm
deadly
good,
stuff.
dude. Yeah, I was surprised, dude. I was fighting it, dude. I was fighting so hard.
I've been around like a bunch of sick people, and I always think like I'm gonna
Yeah,
get sick, and then like I wake up with a sore throat, and then it goes away an hour later, and it's yet to catch up with me. So
yeah.
one of these
Well,
episodes
you're
soon, I'm gonna be in for it.
Yeah, but we ended the year last year. Last year was okay year. Last few events didn't go all the way my way, but still ended up like 14, 13 units up. Should have been more like 25, 30, but is what it is. If I only count UFC, I think I'm more closer to that range. But yeah, we're gonna do some good things this year. Stuff is going good. Shit could only get better. Um, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm undecided if I'm gonna continue with the bet MMA points. Ended last year up 8.9 units, 3% ROI, fourth year in a row in the green. But, like, for instance, this event, like, there was a bunch of DraftKings opening lines, and I bet a bunch of them. But I don't think, tracking them is the right thing to do. So I'm starting off the year where I have all these bets, and I'm not gonna track them because the lines have moved a ton.
Bro, it's totally different situation than the situation you go to going forward, where you only have like a week before. It's
Yeah.
different.
But I don't know. The whole bet MMA points thing, I think, has gotten a little
I guess.
played out.
Anyway, like you said, that's cool. You mentioned DraftKings. DraftKings. If you need help with your DraftKings, head over to John Kelly's new site, fightnumbers.com. Check it out. Optimize your DraftKings lineups. Be in the Discord. Get all your good content there. If you want to bet on a betting exchange, forecasters.com. Promo code Ozzy.
And shuffle.
Get and shuffle your music when you're playing it, so you don't get a soundtrack that you could be happy with, not happy with.
Mm.
You want that shit randomized.
Yeah, $5,000 live bets if anybody wants them, hit up Kagabe to get in
Mm,
on that action. But yeah,
mm,
that's about enough. The only more recap is that Colby Covington is a fucking bitch and will probably never fight again,
that
right?
was bad. Yeah, that was bad. What usually the UFC would want to do, like the matchmaking, would be Ian Gary gets a win, and then you put Ian Gary against a guy who just fought for the title, right? A guy who just coming off a title loss. So you either try to springboard like a prospect off of that, and maybe you put it in like Dublin, right? You go back to Ireland, but you make it like a fight night main event. But Colby, that fight was so bad that you can't even do that. But like traditionally, like Tyron Woodley, right? Tyron Woodley loses to Kamal Usman. His next fight, Gilbert Burns, like a main event kind of fight. But after that fight from Colby, you can't put that motherfucker in no main event. So yeah, that was horrible. He didn't do anything. That was disappointing. Leon didn't really impress me. What impressed me
No.
the most is he's pretty sharp. He's quick. He's fast. But other than that, not that impressed.
Leon is like the most unimpressive winning fighter of all time. Like every time he wins a fight, he leaves you with just enough of like, to not really be impressed.
Yep.
That's really happened in a lot of his wins. But
Let's get into these fights.
yeah, about to say that was so long ago. We can't spend much more time on that. But
Yep.
we're going from the top 12 fights, starting things off in a rematch. This fight happened just a few months ago, ended via no contest. Probably should have been a DQ, but Ankalaev taking on Johnny Walker. And the line for this one, Magomed minus 550, Walker plus 400. So you guys know us. We're not considering betting minus 550. There's the only way that we're thinking betting money line here is Walker, and I mean, the line is wider than the last time. It's 5 rounds now, which you got to think probably favors Ankalaev with um, just more time to get it done. But I'm looking at this one. I'd say the only angle I'm looking at is maybe playing the fight to go the distance. It's up at plus 400. I could just see this one being, just a slow, boring fight later on. I mean, the first fight, they were striking with each other, they were trading inside leg kicks. Ankalaev lands a big body shot. They go to the grappling, and we saw that Ankalaev could have grappling success. He could be able to take him down, ride him out that way. So I think that when it's on the feet, it's going to be very tepid. They're both going to be respectful of each other. Then a big moment's going to happen. A big strike's going to land, and they're probably going to go to the ground, kill some clock there. Um, Another bet I'm thinking about is Ankalaev by sub or by decision at like
Mm.
plus 320. So you're basically just fading the KO because they have the KO, heavily,
Plus
heavily,
320.
heavily
That's
juiced. Yeah,
interesting.
so you're basically just hoping that he doesn't knock him out, and on FanDuel right now, that bet is, 320 for Ankalaev by sub or decision, so that's about enough for me. Not interested in this one, really. I don't understand why they made it the main event, but go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, that's a intriguing enough to me slant to it, but overall, I'm not gonna be invested in this fight. You look at the over under 1.5. Both guys definitely have punching power. Ankalaev though, pretty good defense. Doesn't like come out of his shoes when he's striking. Doesn't really throw like strikes that put him out of position a lot. He'll chip away at you with strikes, from that southpaw stance. And Johnny Walker, he doesn't really have that much rangefinders. So sometimes it's like a big explosion from him or a big counter shot. So like you said, me more tepid on the feet. Uh but it's just Walker, I feel that the only way he's able to take advantage of some of his diverse striking on the feet is if Ankalaev is at least a little bit, maybe not winded, but has, fought at a pace for a bit. But I just don't think he's gonna be able to force him to do that. Ankalaev stays within himself. Probably a good play for DraftKings, I would say definitely. I think in all iterations, like he's gonna eventually Walker will probably put himself in a bad position and he will capitalize. And I do think he will go to the takedowns. So yeah, I'll pick him.
Yep, enough about that one. Just one more thing, though, is, like, the fight. It ended via no contest, illegal knee. I mean, I just don't understand how anybody could watch that first fight, for the few minutes it lasted, the illegal knee, and say, "Oh, we need to see this one again. Let's put it in the main event." So, just a typical Apex dog shit main event there. But the co-main's a good one, a rematch between Mateus Nicolau and Nicolau-Kape. Odds for this one have Kape minus 270, Nicolau plus 230. I believe the last time they fought, Nicolau was a slight favorite, maybe minus 125. Oh no, he was a slight dog, around even money. And Nicolau won a split decision. So give us your thoughts on the last fight, the decision, and then give us your thoughts on how you think it's going to change going into this one.
Yeah, so I this is I bet Menon caught both times, both his first two fights in the UFC. He lost both of them by the decision. Um, you know, he for him, he like had a just a hard time getting going, and it was a consistent for him in the past. Now, I don't think it's as much of a problem for him, but Nicolau, although he, ate that big kick from Royval, I don't really put anything against him there too much because that's like a strange strike that you won't really see too much. And in a fight against Cop, that's not really something that I would factor into a handicap as well as it's kind of like an early thing as well, so sometimes you're not like settled in. I will say I do think that Nicolau cuts quite a bit of weight to make 125, so maybe his shin is a little bit compromised. While Cop, I think this is a good weight class for him overall. He's shown pretty good durability. The only times I think he's been submitted a few times, but for the most part on the feet, he's quite solid. He's got decent defense, but I just think his work rate and the fact that he knows that he lost his fight because of inactivity will play in his favor. The line's gotten a little bit too far away from us though here. At this big favorite price, you're pricing in a lot of the upside from him, which I do see potentially even in the wrestling. Although Nicolau is the better grappler, I would say that his takedowns do leave something to be desired, and he himself isn't the most like active guy in terms of throwing strikes out. So I feel it is realistically a good matchup for Cop to get a win. I thought that in the first fight, and I did bet on him. But I actually potentially like this fight to go over or to go the distance. So whatever pricing could be better there, I'm gonna be looking at. Because I just see potentially Nicolau staying defensive, looking to bait Cop in a little bit more, or potentially looking for some grappling. And that should probably kill some spots here. So I'll go with the goes the distance, but Manal Cop I think will win the decision here.
I agree with the fact that he is like a risk adverse fighter. He'll probably spend a lot of time on the outside. I think he knows that his chin and durability isn't great, and you'll definitely see that come into play versus Cop, who's a really hard hitter, especially with him coming off of that knockout versus Royval as well. Both these guys can be a bit inactive at times, but I think that that's actually worse for Nicolau. He's probably lost the second and third round to Cop in that fight. Lost the first round to Elliott, lost the first round to Dvorak, started slow versus Schnell before dropping him. So I think he just needs to fight a pretty perfect fight here against Cop to win. I think he needs to minimize the striking as much as he can, maximize the grappling opportunities. And he did take Cop down a few times in the first round, but in the second round, Cop gained confidence. He started outboxing him. He started stuffing shots, and Nicolau didn't come close to a takedown for the rest of the fight. So I don't think Nicolau has like the gas or the wrestling to put up like a high wrestling output here and take Cop down multiple times in multiple rounds. So I don't think he's going to win this fight. So I think that where the line is at now is pretty close to accurate. I got Cop early on minus 175, and think
Great bet.
he's just gonna hit Nicolau really hard here when it's on the feet, and Cop,
Yeah.
his durability is insane. He can get in firefights and come out on top, and I think that his defensive grappling has been getting better as well. So, only way I see Nicolau winning is just a nonstop grappling onslaught to a decision, while I think Cop can win the fight in a lot more
Yeah.
ways. So, I think the line is fairly accurate, and I
Should be a
honestly
good
think
fight
Cop
though.
I think Cop
Oh,
knocks
sorry.
him out.
Knocks him out. Yeah, should be a good fight. I'm in between if I want to sweat this one. Sometimes 125ers, these guys, these are angry little dudes, man. Like, if you got a 125er in your life, they're definitely built different. So,
Mm.
let me not lock in that. I'm not gonna lock that one in quite yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it just because Nicolau coming off the knockout, not having a great chin to begin with, and Cop is just a fucking juggernaut, man. So
Yeah.
next fight, lightweight division. The legend Jim Miller taking on Gabriel Benitez. Odds for this one have Miller minus 141, Benitez plus 120 line, 121. Big line movement on Jim Miller here. He was the dog just about maybe 2 weeks ago, I would say. Yeah, he opened up the dog, was the dog for about 2 weeks. And then really, once the new year hit, just a ton of action coming in on him, pushing him from even money all the way down to minus 140 here. And, without a doubt, Jim Miller is the better fighter, the better career fighter by, a massive margin. But, he is so deep in his career. I think he's got like the most UFC fights in history. And, you always got to be, weary of that. It's because he's had a lot of problem with his cardio in recent years. There's fights where he's looked good for 5, 7 minutes, and then the second that fight hits the second half of the fight, he's dead tired and really can't do anything. So that's got to be concerned. But early on here, man, these guys are probably going to get after it. Benitez has always been a high action fighter. Both guys are southpaw. And I think that they're just going to trade with one another in round one. I wouldn't be surprised to see either guy knock each other out in the first round. And I don't really know what to expect when it gets to the second and third round. Whose cardio is going to fare better? maybe Miller can, land an opportunistic takedown and kill some time that way. But man, I don't know about this one. I'm undecided. I'm obviously going to be cheering for the legend Jim Miller. And I think honestly it's going to end in the first round. So, interested to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I didn't really see this fight coming. I'm a huge Jim Miller fan. Seeing him multiple times in person. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses, but no matter what, Jim Miller's gonna get into a fight. And I'm kind of disappointed that I'm gonna be pissed, Martian, if Jim Miller misses the UFC 300 card off of
Yeah,
this.
to
Like
fight
I'm
on a
just I
fucking
mean
Apex card in front of nobody.
I just don't get it, dude. Because Jim Miller's a family man, so I know that he's he's with his family on the holidays and stuff like that. So I just don't understand why they put this fight together. But it is what it is. Whatever. Um, with the steam move, I do agree with the steam move because Mowgli, he's a gilly jumper, right? So we got two gilly jumpers here. Let's acknowledge that. Okay, so we got two gilly jumpers here. Obviously, Jim Miller's guillotine is legendary and it's made in the Northeast, which is different from a Mexican guillotine. Okay, even though I know a Mexican with a good guillotine, but he's from around here, so it makes sense. Anyway, um, so Jim Miller could, if he shoots a takedown on Mowgli, bro. I haven't really seen Mowgli. Mowgli doesn't really have great hips. At 155, I feel he's the smaller guy, even though he might look physically bigger. Jim is just, I feel like stronger. Like he's got that squeeze. I feel in the clinch, he should be able to scoop up some double legs, especially early. But Jim has been more intelligent with the gas tank. Against Alexander Hernandez, it didn't look that bad, and he was landing to all areas of the body. But I'm concerned here with the durability potential for both guys. So it is a little coin flippy. So and even though I agree with the C move, I don't really want to invest in Miller here. Just because potentially if Mowgli looks to slow down the fight, he's traditionally not a live bet fighter either. So it's is this really a good price to invest into something where you're more front loaded? I feel, and I just don't really think so, just because Mowgli, he did look to withstand some things from Ontiveros. Maybe he could, dig underhooks, be a little bit more defensive, use the southpaw. I think his southpaw boxing is adequate and look to tire Jim out. I think that could happen here, but I just don't really want to, I don't think there's a big edge here anymore. So I'll pick Jim Miller to win. I'm not too sure that it will definitely finish. I think there's likelihood that this could go a little later.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it hits the second half of the fight, it'll probably hit the decision, but I think that first half is going to be hellacious. So, wouldn't knock anybody going on the under 1.5, or maybe even does not start round two at plus 158. So, that'll be enough about that one. Moving on to a great fight in the bantamweight division. Ricky Simone taking on Mario Bautista. Odds for this one: Simone minus 185, Bautista plus 160. A lot of action coming in on Simone here. Popular pick in the market. So, great matchup, but give us your thoughts on this one.
Two luchadors right here. I love these kind of fights here. Very competitive guys. What I've liked to see I've seen from Mario Batista is the well-rounded nature of his game now. Right, he's been using his wrestling. He's been using takedowns. Even finishing some fights by submission. Right, like the Brian Kelleher fight. And in his last fight too, he had to defend. He had to use his grappling. In both ways. Obviously, big step up in competition, but Mario Batista, he's been a guy who's been in the training room consistently with Sean O'Malley, Casey Kenny when Casey Kenny was active, Kyler Phillips, Marcus McGhee, right? Marcus McGhee, whatever. All the guys in the MMA lab, all these guys in Arizona. And Mario Batista, he got fed. Let's be honest, a bunch of easy fights, but it's because Sean O'Malley is champ. And this guy is like his main training partner, sparring partner. It's like Marab for Aljo, but Aljo Marab actually got hard fights, right? He got like Marlon Moraes and shit like that. But you know what I mean? Same kind of similar thing here. So I don't think he's actually that much out of his depth. And for me, I would only really want to play Mario. Although I do appreciate the fact that Ricky, his wrestling is very, very strong. Like he has very good positional control, and he lands takedowns hard as well. But sometimes, like if he's not able to stick some takedowns on the lower level guys, that I think it's fair to guess. Like if you watch the Rob Font fight where he couldn't finish all the way the takedowns, or a few other fights, I feel that Mario Batista could potentially scramble with him, make this fight a little bit closer, and be the side at plus money. So I'm actually going to lean with him. But I do think this fight is going to go the distance or go over. So either one, I'm going to look at the best price. But for me, it's dog and over in this spot between two competitive guys that going to come with a well-rounded approach.
Yeah, I agree with the overtake there. I do think this one probably hits the scorecards that a line is out there -150 on some books. I think that's good. I just don't think it's I think that's a generous price. I would say probably -200, 230 would be more accurate. I'm just not sure what the most likely finish here is. I think, Simone has some power in his punches, but we haven't seen him translate that into many finishes. And I think Bautista just seems durable to me. I mean, I just think these guys are going to hit each other with some shots on the feet, and I just see them absorbing it. And I don't think they're going to submit one another either. So I do think this one will hit the decision. And I think it'll be a Simone decision just because I think his, relentless wrestling pace will win him this fight. Bautista just watching over his fight versus Blackshear. Blackshear taking him down a bunch of times in the round one. He did have a nasty bite on a guillotine. Mario did at the end of round one. And I think Mario did clearly win the second and third round, look good in that fight. But I just saw enough, weakness in the wrestling to think that I would not want any part of him versus Simone. And if I do, or if you do like Bautista, I just think the live bet might be a little bit better because I think Simone will hit the takedowns early, but Simone's top control has never been great. So if Mario is able to stand up from these takedowns and to get back at distance, I think this fight could turn real competitive in the later half of the fight. But great matchup here. I'm excited to see this one play out.
Feel
And
I feel this fight could look a lot like the Ricky versus Ray Borg fight. That was a fight that I was thinking about earlier, where Ricky would get in on some takedowns, but these guys are like just little Energizer chipmunk, little rabbits. They're just gonna get right back up. So
Yeah, I'm just concerned for Mario because I just think this is a pretty significant jump in competition. Got, Jay Perrin, Brian Kelleher, Benito Lopez, Guido Canetti, and then he's jumping up to Ricky Simone, who's, a top 10
Guido
bantamweight.
Canetti is a fucking stud, dude.
He is. But he's also, 45 years old. So that's enough about
Damon
that one.
is a stud too, dude.
Damon's a good fighter. I think that was a
You're not
good
giving him
competitive
credit because
fight.
he's black, dude.
I
Can you
specifically
believe? Can you believe Benito Lopez has a Wikipedia, but Damon Blackshear does not?
the disrespect. No, that's racist. But
That's ridiculous.
I tweeted it just the other day, giving Mario and Damon both props. How that was a really really good fight. I watched that fight recently. The crowd was fucking dead silent the whole time, or maybe
That was a great
maybe
fight.
booing at times. I'm like, what the fuck are they booing? Like, this is a good
That fight was legit.
competitive fight.
Yeah.
Main last fight on the main card. Well, for us it is first fight actually in the premier division in the UFC. Phil Hall is taking on Bruno Ferreira. Odds for this one
Oof.
have Bruno -135. Hall's plus 115. I took Bruno here at I think at -112 just because I'm willing to bet pretty much any hard puncher at pick'em price versus Phil Hawes. I mean, I really think that's the point where we're at versus Phil Hawes is any guy that throws, hard punches I think is very, very live to beat Phil Hawes because Hawes' defense sucks, his chin sucks, and he cannot seem to fight intelligently for a long period of time in order for him to, not get knocked out. And I know I might be being harsh on him coming off the Alaskarov knockout because Ikram is good, but I mean the Roman fight, he tore his knee in that one, got knocked out. The Curtis fight, he was doing great in that one, got knocked out. I don't know, man. I just think that Hawes he's got a lot of skills, but he just can't seem to put it together and to fight a good fight. He has been training in Philadelphia though. Him and Brendan Allen came up to Philly, got some good training in with the guys up here. And
That has to make you hate him more.
no, no, no. I like Brendan Allen. And But maybe he had a little talk with that Ruzaboyev, because Ruzaboyev just knocked out Bruno, and maybe he figured out the formula to catch the leg kick and slam Bruno on the back of his head and knock him
Listen,
out.
all
Um,
right, you're done.
but
You're
yeah,
done.
I got Bruno. Even though Bruno's untested, even though he only has 2 fights in the UFC, I think he is gonna hang in the pocket, throw some punches, and probably shut Phil's lights off.
No, fuck all of that. So I'm picking Phil Hawes here because Bruno, like you said, his chin himself is not even that good potentially. He just got his legs put out easily as well. And Ali Askarov, or what's his first name?
Ikram.
Ikram, excuse me. Yeah, Ikram's a monster, dude. Like he hit him with he kneed him in the face and then kicked him, or then he hit him with that 1-2. That was a vicious combo. Um, and this dude for Bruno, the thing with Bruno is his look at how he got knocked out by Ruzaboyev, dude. Look how he throws that leg kick, dude. He looks. I'm not gonna call him man an MMA novice, but he just looks like he just be throwing shit. And
But
Phil
you gotta
Hawes,
admit that knockout was pretty weird. Like it wasn't
okay,
like
yeah, Martian, but look at how he threw that kick, dude. That kick looked horrible, dude. Obviously, you're gonna get countered, bro.
yeah, but
But like,
you
come
never
on,
thought he would get fucking slammed on the back of his head.
Martian, you would have countered that slow mo. Look at that fire hydrant. What the fuck is he thinking? Throwing a kick like that. That was a horrible strike. If he throws that against Phil Hawes, what do you think Phil Hawes gonna do?
Phil Hawes is
Like
probably
just
gonna
watch,
self combust.
bro? Phil Hawes is either gonna hit him as well, same way, or he's gonna take him down. Honestly, dude, if Phil Hawes is conscious, he's winning this fight. So I'm taking Phil Hawes. Dog money, give me it all day, easy,
All
easy,
right,
bro.
head to head, starting things
Head to
off
head,
in the
but
premier division.
you won't lay juice on
I already
Bruno, though.
told you, dickhead. I said I bet him -112. You got to start listening better.
Oh, that's barely juice. So
Okay,
I'm
well,
saying,
I mean, what are you? You're fucking
all right,
faulting
all
me for
right, all
getting a
right, all
good
right.
price.
Yeah, we're head to head. Yeah, we're head to head. You're gonna lose.
Bet. We got next fight. Your absolute boy, the man putting the DR MMA on his back right now.
Let's go.
Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on the perennial gatekeeper Andre Arlovski, heavyweight division. Waldo -700. Andre
Let's
Arlovski plus
go.
500. I'm
Minus 700 is
this
insane.
line has never just not stopped moving. Ozzy, I bet
Yo.
Waldo -205. Um,
You also bet Lucas Bresky. How much you bet? What did you bet him at?
bro, it's a new year. It's a new year.
Yo,
We're
that was
leaving
such a stupid fucking bet.
we're leaving some things in the past. We're moving on. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that just goes. I tell you, I got a great price on your boy Waldo, and what
Yeah.
do? You bring up some old shit. You're like that ex who is old. You're trying to move on. You're out to dinner. You're trying to talk about the future, and she just keeps bringing up
Yo.
old fights. Oh, remember when?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Go
Especially when you
ahead.
disrespect my boy. Oh, yeah. So, amazing. I met Andre Arlovsky actually once. I might have told you a story. I met Andre Arlovsky once. We were in the East Village, and I'm walking
Like
into
a
a
bathroom,
Starbucks,
right?
and yeah, no, we're walking into a Starbucks, and they got, this is a different Starbucks. They definitely had just renovated. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, let me see what they have. Maybe they have something new on the menu down here, with these fucking hipsters. And I look and then I turn to the other way, and who do I see, bro? I see Andre Arlovsky, bro. His nose completely sideways, bro. Like his nose was destroyed. And this is right after he fought either Frank Mir or Travis Brown. No, not Travis Brown. Frank Mir, I think it was. It was a horrible fight. But I had saw the fight. So I'm like, I'm like, holy shit, Andre Arlovsky. And he's like, hey. And then I'm like, yo, great last fight. And he's like, oh, not really, but thank you. And because that fight was horrible. I remembered afterwards because I think the fight before the Frank Mir fight was the Travis Brown fight. And obviously that fight was fucking crazy. I think that's the one where they're
I
like
think
baby
Bigfoot.
leg.
I think he fought Bigfoot Silva before Travis Brown, but I could be wrong.
All right. All right, but he had he had a shitty fight, and I saw him right after a shitty fight, but I thought it was right before. I thought it was right after the Travis Brown fight. Either way,
It was, yeah.
so
It went
I
Bigfoot Brown, then Mir.
Okay, yeah. So I let him cut. He's like, "You in line?" So I let him cut in line, right? I let him go in front because fucking UFC Hall of Famer, bro. And little did I know what he would do afterwards, bro. Uh, but obviously legend, right? He's super cool. So yeah, he actually bought my coffee, but he was cool. But anyway, now it's fitting, bro, that he's gonna let another Dominican through the
Cut
gates.
in line, yeah.
He's gonna pass it down, bro. He's gonna pay it forward. And he's gonna let my boy Waldo Cortez Acosta through the gates, bro, into the UFC top 15. I hope. And he's gonna do what these motherfuckers bitching about Jay Collier. What Jay Collier couldn't do. Who else lost to Andre Arlovski? I don't know. I made a boatload of money on Andre Arlovski fights, and I respect him. But the thing with Waldo is he's shown he's immunized to Aaron Rodgers to calf kicks, right? My boy don't give a fuck about calf kicks, and he's just too fast hand speed wise for Andre Arlovski, and it's easy to stun and wobble and disorientate Arlovski at this point in time in his career. And you've seen that in his last two fights. So I think he's gonna get, stumbled a little bit here, and then Waldo's just gonna go in for the kill, bang him up, bang him up. So what is he to win by KO?
Well, it's gotta be
Is
like
that like minus
minus
like 200?
300, I
No,
imagine.
maybe 200. 200, maybe.
Let's see, it is 225. Oh, wait, that's ITD.
225.
180 by
Uh
KO.
Well, yeah, I was closer than you. You
Yeah.
see, no, nothing new, nothing new. So yeah, I think he's gonna win by knockout. So I'd be comfortable, betting him by knockout, honestly.
Yeah, so as I mentioned early on in the podcast, I bet a lot of openers. Waldo minus 205 is one of them. So, my stance on this one is clear. I mean, I think it definitely has gotten out of hand a little bit. But Arlovski recently, man, he's just looking like he barely cares in there. I mean, even the Collier fight, which was pretty regarded as a bad, robbery. The Delima fight taken down, instantly choked out. Dante Mays just never got going, got finished in that one. So I don't know, man. I mean, he's getting paid like $300,000 or more a fight. So I
Are
don't
you
think
pocket
I
watching?
don't think he
Are
cares
you?
if he just goes in there, loses, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back in 3 more months and make another $1 million this year." So, um, yeah, I mean, I think Waldo should box him up and get the win just by being superior boxer. Much quicker. I mean, Waldo's 32, yet he's still 12 years younger than Arlovski. So, um, that's enough about that one. Next fight, good one here. Welterweight division. Matt Semelsberger, Preston Parsons. Odds for this one have Semelsberger minus 130, Parsons plus 110. I'm on Preston Parsons here. And my thoughts are basically any dedicated grappler versus Matt Semelsberger at plus money, I'm willing to take. And I know Parsons' striking is pretty ugly. He has these like blitzing strikes where he just kind of throws these choppy little strikes out there and then looks to blitz his way into a takedown. But Semelsberger is kind of a stationary fighter. He, doesn't really track opponents down. He doesn't cut off the cage. He doesn't fight well moving backwards. He kind of needs you to stand and trade right in front of him. And if you don't do that, then he really, really struggles. So I think that Parsons is just gonna stay on the outside, throw a few blitzing shots to close the distance, shoot a takedown, and he's gonna do it over and over again until he either can takes Matt Semelsberger down over and over, or he gets himself knocked out. And Matt Semelsberger is just a bad defensive wrestler. There's no other way about it. Is he can't stop takedowns well. He can't get off his back well. And he's also taken this fight on, a little bit short notice. I think he took the fight maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So Parsons has the full camp. Semelsberger is the one coming in on short notice. So not only does he not do well against um, grapplers, he also is taking it on short notice. He's coming off a knockout loss to a lightweight. So I think Semelsberger is just no good. I'm not like Parsons is some great prospect, but he shoots takedowns. He's aggressive. He seems like he has good cardio as well. So I like Parsons at plus. Preston Parsons plus money.
Say that three times fast.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. So, did you mention that Summelsberger's here on short notice as well?
I did.
Okay, okay, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, so actually, I don't mind Parsons as a prospect. I think he was actually a good prospect. I bet him in his last fight. That was a little bit disappointing. If he doesn't lose position like I don't know, 3 or 4 times in that fight, I think it's a pretty clear win for him. What's so funny about that?
That's just like a Mugabe, recap of the
Yeah,
fight. If he didn't make 5 critical mistakes, he would have won.
true, very true. I mean, yeah. If he
Sorry.
didn't get hit with that left hook after that right hook, he
Mhm.
would have not got knocked out.
Phil
So,
Hawes, if he didn't get knocked out in his last fight, he maybe would have won.
yeah, he would have been a Hall of Famer. Um, he, so yeah, with this fight, yeah, like you said, the thing with Semelsberger is every time I think, oh, maybe he's like improved his grappling, and it just looks horrible, dude. Like he looks like he doesn't know that he's allowed to stand back up if he gets taken down. Like he kind of like moves and like he like just turns his hips from side to side, like, but without like really like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back up to my feet. I don't know. The objective, like it seems like a wiring thing in his head. I don't know. He looks kind of weird to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. And only guys he's looked good against have been absolute bums. But the funny thing with both guys is they've like fought a guy similar to the other guy, like all their fights for the most part. Like I would say, like I feel like Trevin Giles is not similar to this guy, but he definitely wants to keep it on the feet. And same thing with who's the other guy that Daniel Rodriguez, right? And then this guy has fought uh who's Summelsberger fight? Who's the Fletcher, and who's the other grappler that he fought? Wells.
Wells?
So yeah, so like those guys, like Preston Parsons is similar to them. He's gonna come in there, be looking to throw power shots and looking to get the takedown, throw power, rinse and repeat. And I think it's gonna work. So I would want a bigger price though, honestly. But I lean towards picking, just thinking that Summersberg is gonna shit himself and lose again.
Nice.
Yeah,
Bantamweight division
I'm
next.
struggling. I'm
I'm excited
struggling.
I'm excited for this one. The Maniac,
Oh
Marcus
yeah.
McGhee, Gaston
Holy
Bolaños,
shit.
the Maniac
Holy
versus the
shit.
Dream Killer.
Holy shit.
Um,
Holy shit.
Marcus McGhee is the favorite minus 240, Gaston Bolaños plus 205. So your turn to start this one off. Give us your thoughts on.
Banger alert. Banger alert. Yeah, so, you know, I Gaston Bolanos, he's here for striking kind of fights. I don't think Marcus McGee's gonna really look to take him down early. But I don't really have a angle on this fight, Martian, at all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Marcus McGee hits hard, but I think Gaston Bolanos is a different level, a type and level of striker where he's gonna be better at countering, taking shots, setting up his offense off of your offense and stuff like that. So I'd have to be Dogger Pass.
Yeah, I bet Marcus at the early price. I forget exactly what it is. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but I do think he actually will probably take him down. I mean, I was just rewatching that Gaston Bolaños fight versus Aaron Phillips, and Aaron Phillips is just a bottom of the barrel fighter, not really good at anything, and he was able to take Bolaños down. He mounted him. He took his back multiple times. He got him in a body triangle. I mean, he really could have won the second and third round of that fight, and stole a decision. I mean, I was pretty shocked to see that there were 30-27 scorecards for Bolaños in there. And I mean, Bolaños, he comes from Muay Thai. He had a bunch of spinning elbow knockouts. He has a good manager, and that's why he was able to get into the UFC. But even before the UFC, I mean, he 6-3 with a bunch of wins in Bellator. You typically very rarely see those guys get into the UFC. But like I said, good management. He got in there. Um, you know, He's only 31, but I just don't have high hopes for him. I just don't think his grappling is nearly good enough to cut it at the bantamweight division. And Marcus McGee is, a motherfucker, man. This dude is tough. He's a good striker, and I think he's a good grappler as well. We haven't really got to see him fight many good fighters. I'm really interested to see how he matches up against tougher guys as he continues to move up. He is pretty old, 33. He's getting to the UFC a little late, but I still think that he could do good things. I mean, he only went pro in 2020. So this guy's a late bloomer. And I think I'm interested to see where his future goes. I think he's going to get through this one pretty easily. I don't even think he's going to be out of his depth on the feet, and I think he's going to make pretty easy work if he looks to hit takedowns here. So I wonder what is Marcus by sub. I would imagine it's plus two something. Um, let's see, 230. Yeah, not quite good enough for me. I would have liked to see 300 or something.
Yeah,
But
you're a
he
greedy
did
fuck.
I mean, he destroyed Newson and subbed him in that fight. So I think McGee's gonna, make easy work of this one. And we're sticking in the bantamweight division for another good fight here. Two solid fighters. I don't even think either of these guys are ranked, but both are, just good, well-rounded fighters. And this is a fun matchup. Shame it's buried so far in the prelims, but Farid Basharat taking on Taylor Lapilus. Odds for this one have Farid minus 275. Lapilus coming back at plus 235. So good amount of steam coming in on Basharat. He was minus 170 for a while there, and the sharps jumped in on him at that price and bet him down to where it's probably correct. I just think that, the Basharat brothers, man, are fucking good. And I've bet against them a few times. I've lost several times. And I'm just at the point now where I'm not interested in fading these guys. I mean, these guys are good fighters, well-rounded fighters, training with good fighters out in Vegas with Dewey Cooper. Tim Kwamba is training with the Basharat, so they're on point. And I just think the Basharat is probably going to out-grapple Lapilus here. Lapilus is, a smooth striker. I think he switched stances, but mostly fights from the southpaw stance. Had a good debut against, Logren. Um, but I just think that his defensive grappling is not up to speed here, and Farid is gonna, hit takedowns. And Farid's top game, man, is nasty. I mean, he can keep you down, he can defend submissions, he can pass guard. We saw him just make absolute easy work of Cleats and Rodriguez in his last fight, and we saw him, out grapple, get the better of Damon Blackshear when they fought each other. There was competitive moments in that fight, but Farid, I think, did outgrapple him, did enough to win the fight there, and I think he's going to do the same here, grapple his way to a decision win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, interesting fight here. This is one fight that I did also that I bet early, so I got some Basharat at minus 170. I think that's been piled onto a few different times, so I don't think taking this last number is advisable. Overall, I just feel that Basharat controls dictates pace pretty well. Although this is a good test because this is a veteran guy who's fought, all over the world, second sit in the UFC. But and he's a little bit of like an absorber. Like he could fight off the back foot a little bit, but I think eventually with how Bastrek could also mix it up, he's going to be able to find effective route to land the cleaner offense. Whether that be in maybe clinch and striking in close, striking out at range, takedowns, whatever it is. But I don't think that Lapilus has a big advantage. Even if it is just on the outside, because he kind of like focuses on throwing that like left kick, which I think Bastrand's going to be able to neutralize more or less and get to his offense more with more straight shots and combinations and the like. But yeah, I do think that eventually he mixes in the takedowns. But I think that he's going to wear him out with like going for the takedown and then letting go or like transitioning as opposed to the little Irish kid who I faded big against Taylor. He was kind of just like, I'm just trying to hold this takedown, hold these legs, or do all that shit. So I think it's gonna be active fight. It's gonna be a good one, but I am definitely confident in the Marie Bashrat side.
Yeah, I mean, Logren only landed 2 takedowns and got 6.5 minutes of control, so that shows that, um, he once he gets taken down, he is typically spending a good amount of time on bottom, so don't think that's a good strategy versus Farid. Next fight, featherweight division, Weston Wilson versus Gene Silva. Odds for this one, Silva minus 1,200, Wilson plus 800. I mean, Weston Wilson's a role player, not a real fighter. I don't really know much about Gene Silva. I don't really remember his Contender Series fight. I breezed through it earlier today, and it seemed like a pretty unmemorable fight. So I'll take this as a learning experience on Silva. I'll get a little more information about him, but no way I want to bet this fight in any shape or form. What are you thinking? Anything?
You're gonna download that data
Exactly.
on Gene. You download that data. Yeah, I mean,
Gotta
I
be
don't have
cool.
really thoughts here. I don't really have thoughts here. It's just fun. I like how the UFC they make it very clear to you, like, yeah, dude, like it's not a meritocracy anymore for the most part, but we do have these jobbers around to give some of our guys some experience because it was funny how they had who was the first guy they had fighting Weston
They had Gabe Santos.
Gabe Santos, who was a huge favorite. I think he might have been a smaller favorite. Was he a bigger favorite or a smaller
He
favorite?
opened minus 395, and I think he got bet to like 7 or 800.
Yeah, so they were like, yo, this is the tier of guy we're putting in here. You know, we're putting in a fucking Brazilian or a guy like this. But I think this fight should finish. You know, this dude, Weston Wilson, is probably gonna do something that it will make the fight memorable, but eventually he's probably gonna get submitted again. But he's probably gonna go for a submission too. So
Mm.
maybe he could get a
He's a
submission. You never
karate
know.
guy. I don't think he goes for submissions,
He
does he?
goes no, he goes
Oh,
for
you're right. He
submission.
has
Yeah,
11,
yeah.
11 wins by sub. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, motherfucker. You think I don't do my fucking homework? You don't think I research, bro?
um,
He went for
not on this one.
something on Brito. I think he went for he tried some shit. He tried
Yeah,
to counter him, I think, or something. I don't know.
man, this is some cruel shit having this guy
Oh,
fighting.
he went. Yeah, he went for a leg lock. Yeah, he was trying to like knee bar him or like
Oh,
choke him, and
and
that
then he
that was the position where he got knocked the fuck out. Yeah,
right. That was bad.
yeah,
Next fight,
that was
lightweight
funny.
division. The future, Tom Nolan. Our boy Coco was real high on Tom Nolan taking on
Oh
Nicholas
boy,
Mota. Odds for
that
this
was the
one.
best thing I saw all week.
Yeah, that was great. Fucking message from him was great. Tom Nolan
That was
minus
so funny.
340, Nicholas Mota plus 280. Give us your thoughts on this one. We got an Anzac. He's from Australia, right? Or is he New
Bro,
Zealand?
he's fucking cool, bro. Whichever one
Australia.
he's from, I don't know, but
He's 23
I
years old.
approve.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah, so I was impressed. I didn't know any like usually I don't. I think he was like one of the first weeks a contender, no, or me, I don't know, who knows. But I
He
didn't
was
really look into
week
it.
one.
He was right. Week one, there you go. So for week one, I really don't do that much research. I just like say people say, "Oh, bet this guy, bet this guy." I'm like, "All right, sure." So I bet him in there, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Like I thought the other guy. Then I looked at tape, but the other guy was, "Oh, the other guy's not like a noob." But Tom, to describe him, he's got amazing attributes. Reminds me of like a mix of like Tim Means and a few other guys. But you know, he's like a high risk, high reward kind of guy. Throws a lot of elbows, knees, long range. But the point is, Nicholas Mota, I think he's done, dude. Like he looks horrible in that last fight. Really didn't pull the trigger. Let this guy do whatever he wanted to him. And I just feel his chin is bad. It's gonna be like a Manuel Torres rerun. Maybe Nicholas bites on the mouthpiece. Like, yeah, he's got a good left hook, dude. He's like a poor man's like a Glover to Sheriff. Glover didn't know how to grapple or was good or had like their ability or but you know what I mean? Like these guys where they're like, hey man, I stick to the grassroots or like the traditional combos and stuff like that, and I just let them rip. But when you're not doing it with like like the fervor, your fighting style really doesn't work, and that's what you've seen with Nicholas Mota. And I think he's
Fervor?
gonna lose another fight. Fervor, yeah, like ferocious, like fervor
Mm.
is a word. Look into it, bro.
Yeah,
But
I had to Google meteorocracy. What's the word you said?
meritocracy.
Yeah, yeah. Did not know what that one.
You're a moron, dude. Um, did you go to public school over there in Philly, or
Yeah,
did
yeah.
they put you in a Catholic
The
school? Oh,
suburbs, bro. The
whatever.
suburbs. Come on. Uh,
Suburbs public school though, so a good one, right?
yeah, yeah. Good one.
But anyway, yeah. So I got Tom Nolan minus 190. I wouldn't parlay him now because, like I said, he could get knocked out. But I think there's gonna be an early finish here, dude. Like he's gonna get after it, dude. His fights are pretty crazy. Nicholas Mota, he's either gonna fucking cower like he did in his last fight, or he's gonna get knocked out. But this will be his last fight in the UFC.
Yeah, Mota's a gimp, and he's gonna get turned into one here. Um, just this guy, I think, is not as good as he used to be. I mean, he's already past his prime. I think he is 34, right, or something. Oh no, he's only 30. Sheesh. But he's been a pro since 2012. So I think we're actually already you were already seeing him past his prime. I don't think he was ever that good. I mean, the Contender Series, he got on with like a low volume boxing win over Joe Lowry. His only win in the UFC is over Van Camp so far. I mean, he was getting destroyed by Ogden. Got laid out, one of the worst knockouts all year versus Nicholas Mota, or versus Manuel Torres, excuse me. So I think Nolan's going to do the same here. I kind of think he's like a Jack Della type, but I do see the Tim Means comparison. Long, big southpaw, 6'3", a lot of knees, good elbows. I just think this guy is going to throw some nasty strikes at Motta, and Motta is not going to be able to withstand them. I mean, we definitely there's questions about Nolan. If you watch some of his other fights, he does get taken down, get his back taken, but Motta is not a grappler, man. He's not going to test Nolan, and I think this is don't overthink it. I'm pretty sure Tom Nolan's going to knock Motta out in the first round here. So I got him minus 170 though, Ozzy. So
I got
you're
190. Yeah,
playing catch up over there. But
yeah.
last fight for us, first fight on the card. My boy Josh Van, love this guy taking on Felipe Bunes, who is a fun fighter himself, making his UFC debut. Josh Van favored minus 250, Bunes plus 210. Bunes was supposed to fight Zumagulov. I forget exactly what the odds were on that one. It says plus 130. But I remember taping them. I rewatched the fights this week. I think the guy is, decently well rounded. I think he has skills everywhere, but he's a bit of like a wild fighter, just a typical like Brazilian fighter. I don't know if he trains at a shoot the box. No, he trains at the Pitbull Brothers gym, but I feel like he has a decent level of skill everywhere, but he doesn't have like a consistent game that he goes to. He doesn't have like a way that he's gonna win fights often. I mean, he's 34 too, just getting into the UFC. Very, very late here, also been pro for about 12 or 13 years. So I don't think Bunes is anything special, and I think Josh Van is, man. I mean, for how good this kid is at just 22 years of age, I mean, how advanced his level of striking is. I think he's a solid grappler as well. I think Bunes' best chance would probably be in the grappling. I mean, he had that one fight in ACA where he was a lot of grappling, a lot of triangles, arm bars. Eventually got him with an arm bar, but he showed that he's very opportunistic with his submission. So if somehow Bunes can get the fight to the floor and maybe lock up a submission, I think that would be his best shot because Van on the feet, man, this guy, systematically breaks you down. We saw Borjas maybe drop him in the first round of that fight, but then Van figured him out. He beat the shit out of him in the second and third round. Van's output, his cardio, his body work is just remarkable. And I cannot believe this guy is only 22 years old with the way that he strikes in there. So 12 years younger too. So I just think the speed difference is going to be crazy on the feet here. And maybe look to live bet Van. Hopefully Bunes has an early moment similar to how Borjas did, and then we can jump in on Van live here. Give us your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I've been impressed, like you said, about the composure Joshua Van has shown. Overall, it just looks like he's been in a lot of these situations. Like he's probably got a lot of sparring under his belt, but he's so young. Speed, like you said, is going to be here. I think Bunes has only won like two decisions in his career, and I don't think any. Or I think he won one not long ago, LFA, but I didn't think he looked that good in that fight. Um, and it was like a split decision. It was against one of my Dominican homies. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little salty. I'm joking, but yeah, and I just liked what I saw from him overall, or from Joshua Van overall, and I felt like Bunes. I mean, he's probably gonna come out hot. So I think his first round is gonna be his best round. I think he needs to have some kind of success there to carry into following rounds. So I will look for a live price on you or on Joshua Van. But what's Joshua Van round three? Is there
I'm gonna guess
uh
plus 800.
excuse me? I'm gonna say 11 of them.
600. Ugh, that's
Wow.
terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that, but maybe a round three or decision line. But I feel like basically we missed. The money line was probably okay at a certain point, but first fight of the
Yeah.
year, don't have to. I would rather have action, but I won't.
Yeah. I mean, Van, I think he needs to develop a little bit of little more power because he lands all these shots, but he doesn't seem to be actually, hurting guys with it. But GTD here is plus 140. I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
that's
Bues could take a punch, dude. I mean, I
yeah.
feel like let me see. What's him?
Van by
Van
decision,
by the
Van 3 decision will
200.
probably be like plus 130, 150 or something. So
Yeah, but
that's an
but
angle.
is Van decision
220,
200?
220.
220. I'm gonna bet that. I'm gonna bet that.
Yeah, just hope he can survive.
I'm gonna
But
take some of that.
but that'll do it. We we gotta get some FMKs ready. I haven't thought
Bro,
about
can we
mine yet.
not do FMK this week? I don't feel good.
Okay,
I'm not
okay, that sounds good.
the
Yeah, that
vibe.
sounds good. I'm sure some asshole from New Jersey will be happy about that. Maybe we won't even continue them the rest of the year. That's your call on that one. We'll see what
Hey,
the
when I fuck, I want to be,
all the way in.
all good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know
bricked
what I
up.
mean.
You don't want like
That
a 75%. Yeah, yeah. I know what I feel.
nope,
Um,
exactly.
all right, well, that'll do it. It's good to be back. Good to be back breaking down some fights. We had 3 weeks in a row with no UFC, so it's good to be back with some fights to bet on. Um, yeah, good to be back with Ozzy.
Vámonos.
See you all next week. Thank you all for listening. Another year in the books, and we'll see you all next week before UFC 297. Peace out, everyone.
Yeah.